Hey, hello, everyone. Welcome back. So, we are live again with another exciting and insightful episode. And today we have a very special guest with us, Dr. Krishna Chaitanya Rao, currently a program director at the Translational Data Analytics Institute at OU State. So let me tell you a few words about our amazing speaker today. Krishna's journey spans responsible AI, global partnership, and innovation in education. He led AI governance at Vanguard, built international learning programs at UMass Amherst, strengthened the startup ecosystem with the government of Telangana, and even co-founded an edtech startup. Right, so much experience here. You get to learn a lot today, so brace yourself. He's also the author of Privacy in the Age of Innovation, a top 1% mentor on ATP list, recipient of AIEA Professional Promise Award, and a global voice for inclusive ethical AI. Krishna, we all welcome you and can't wait to dive into your story and the journey, like how you started, and you have so many experience and so many accolades under your belt. So we would love to know, like all the students would love to know, how you get started in your initial days.
Sure, that's a good question, and again, thanks for the warm welcome, and yeah, and really pleased to be here, and thanks to the entire girls leading tech community and the organizers who are really striving to bring in folks to have this interaction. So again, it's thanks and kudos to the team. Yeah, I think speaking of my experience, so yeah, like traditionally, I got my bachelor's in computer science, and then I've done my management specialization from Vinod Gupta School of Management, IIT Kharagpur. And then I founded my own edtech startup, and I've had a successful exit. And then I joined Government of Telangana, specifically worked on state startup rankings project, and supported on the state startup portal. And then I moved to US, of course, to get my master's, and immediately transitioned to my PhD in data science. So, and yeah, since then, I was at different institutions in various roles. So, my most recent experience is with Vanguard, where I led some of the trustworthy and responsible AI research. And yeah, and currently, at the Ohio State University in the Translational Data Analytics Institute, and also the program director for the Masters in Translational Data Analytics program. And so my role is a joint position where there is a research component to it, and also there is the administrative component to it. So yeah, and yeah, really looking forward to the discussion.
Wonderful, beautiful journey indeed, and a lot is yet to come ahead. So wish you all the best for what will be coming in the future. And as we have the title and challenges, so I have a very curious question in my mind that I believe all the students of this generation would obviously be having. They have the fear that AI will change the world. AI will gonna take all the jobs, or the people who are very, very, very good at using AI will gonna take their jobs. Whether it let's consider both role here, technical as well as non-technical. So as you have a lot of experience in this field, so what is your take? And as you live abroad, so you have the culture around you, you have very talented people around you. So, what is your take and what is your perspective around it? Is it a myth or is it a reality? And how or and what should the students do at this age? Uh,
Got it. That's a good question. So, and that's a tough question to be honest. Uh, I think, yeah, with the evolving space of, like, AI, generative AI, every like new shining thing that's coming in overnight. And my colleagues from San Francisco, oh my God, I was literally the way that they've built AI agents is literally like running the entire Domino's pizza shop. So right from you call, um, uh, to Domino's Pizza to make an order. There is an agent that will take your order, and then that agent will pass it to another agent who does the cooking, the processing of your pizza, and then there is another agent that checks to see um, the inventory, if there is any uh, enough supplies for the respective pizza. And then there's another agent that actually places the order through DoorDash or like Instacart or like some other resources. I think, yeah, the AI agent space is, I think it's mind blowing. Yeah, I think to your second part of question, um, of will it take off the jobs? I think I see the question of more of the jobs, but I think in a different kind of jobs, right? I think traditionally we've been used to traditional roles, but I think now, with everything that's happening, I think the entire categories of repetitive work will obviously get disappear, and that's already happening, as you might have seen. And you would also see like new roles coming in, like around AI
Yeah.
governance, human AI collaboration, prompt engineering, ethical
Yeah.
design, and creativity with AI. I think, yeah, like these are really emerging these days, and I think the real challenge is the reskilling. So how fast can we prepare people for these new opportunities? I think that's where the education systems, companies, and governments, of course, need to step in to create skilling initiatives so that future students are like well prepared on these opportunities.
Wonderful. So yes, AI is like a double-edged sword. It's a boon and it can be considered as a pain. Obviously, it will demolish a lot of jobs, but it will create a lot of jobs either. As you said that a lot of repetitive jobs would gonna be replaced. Are you referring that all the content writers or the people who usually writes and now AI has the capability that it can generate a really good content. Right. Generate images like there is the trend of banana AI booming nowadays, where people are generating images which look like real. Like they're generating images, they are with Elon Musk or Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and they look real. So, what is the future? What will be the future for graphic designers, for photographers, and in future, whether we would be recognizing what is real or what is unreal?
Got it. No, that's a good question. And yeah, I think, as generative AI has given us amazing things, but I think it also created, the risks, around like deep fakes,
Yeah.
bias, and even like if you look at the massive misinformation risks, right? I think, the way that I see them as like an ongoing challenges rather than something that's temporary and can be fixed. I think especially with deepfakes and the misinformation really exploited the fundamental human weakness, which is I think the trust and of course the perception. So I think they'll be always with us. So I think what we can do is to build resilient systems and societies, which is stronger AI literacy, right? I think make sure that everyone, even our parents, should be like AI literate, and like also like better fact checking ecosystems, and also having like a transparent guardrails so that the risks won't vanish, but again our ability to manage and also mitigate them can improve dramatically. I think, yeah, we have to probably think through like from the resilience systems, and like human AI collaboration is certainly uh, you know important, at least these days. And yeah, also I think use of ethical and responsible AI would also come into place.
Hmm. These are the challenges that we are facing nowadays, and obviously I'm very curious to know, like there are a lot of industries that in which AI is excelling beyond human performance, right? So which industry do you think will be completely unrecognizable in maybe let's consider 5 years because of generative AI?
I think I think that's a really good question. So I if I had to, you know, um, think of like one like unrecognizable sector, um, probably education, right? I think, you know, education will be unrecognizable in the next 5 years. Again, I don't mean to say that, you know, the classrooms will be replaced by machines, but the way that we teach, the way, you know, we learn fundamentally shift. And you know, imagine, you know, students having like personalized AI tutors that would adapt, you know, their pace, their learning style, and their curiosity. And I think teachers will spend less time in lecturing and more time in like guiding, like problem solving, critical thinking. And you know, previously the rigid of like one size fits for all model of education will definitely go away. I think learning will become more personalized and more participatory. And yeah, like there are a lot of these like learning science, as I'm a learning science researcher, there are like a lot of these learning science principles like zone of proximal development, which essentially talks about like, you know, each student is unique and how do we challenge them so that, you know, they're not bored with the content. So I think it's going to be more of a personalized education is what I think. I mean, there are like other sectors as well. The immediate thought that I got is definitely the education.
Education, quite interesting. And I have this thing in mind, as most of the audience would be students who would be watching this. So I want to know that, okay, right now generative AI is in boom, or maybe in 4 to 5 years we can see AGI coming, right? So different phases of AI will be coming. So any advice that you have for the students that want to learn, not like that they'll learn AI right now and in the future some other technology would overcome, like robotics, or there are a lot of things going on in the industry, a lot of innovations happening. So considering the future, what advice would you like to give to the students that they can do this right now that will make them very, very relevant, and that will open a doors of so many opportunities for them in near future, maybe after 5 years or a decade?
Got it. That's a good question again. I think, um, if I had to think, I think the smartest way is to, you know, build your technical fluency with like human strengths. I think it's also about like learn how to use and understand AI. But I think yes, don't just stop there. I think double down on critical thinking skills and you know, ethics, empathy, um, and cross-cultural collaboration. I think, you know, these are the skills that AI cannot replicate. And I think the future leaders, you know, will be those who work with AI while still bringing uniquely in terms of like human values and in terms of like, you know, the human judgment. And of course, you know, these days, someone in the audience might question me, Krishna, you know, there is also this thing which is LLM as a judge, and which is, you know, which is actually doing some of those, you know, like the skills like empathy, ethics, cross-cultural collaboration. I think that will definitely take time to get, but yeah, and of course the creativity.
That's why a lot of organizations, big organizations like Perplexity, OpenAI, Nvidia, Google are focusing much more on ethical uses of AI, promoting safety, and these much things in AI. So that okay, one thing I wanted to say here. Previously, uh, AI firm Anthropic says, like testing of its new system revealed it is sometimes willing to pursue extremely harmful actions, such as it attempts to blackmail the engineers who says that they'll remove it. And after getting to know about this, they immediately shut down the work on that model to think, okay, where they have done wrong. So these kind of dangerous scenarios we uh, are seeing, and maybe who knows that these organizations are don't revealing what is going inside, because who reveals what is going inside internal in the company? Right. So, what do you think? Would we be living the universe in near future, maybe a decade or two, that would be ruled by Terminators? If you saw the movie, that robots are ruling. We have the time machine, we have the spaceships, because now with AI anything is possible if we are moving so rapidly. Because we have this post AI or pre AI era. We can divide it. Before it, the world is pretty, different, and now all the younger generations are dependent on artificial intelligence for every kind of work in the day-to-day life, and it's getting more advanced and advanced. So the possibilities are immense and endless. So, what is your take on it? Is all the things real that will gonna that we saw in the movies?
I mean, I don't know how to be honest. I don't know. I
Is it
think I
scary?
think it's the field is just evolving, right? I think one of the piece that I would certainly like to emphasize, which is the like a responsible AI side of it, right? I think we should um, start really thinking systems, whether that is safe, that is transparent, that is fair. I think we are a question of the anthropic solution where the blackmail of that engineer. So right, I think it would fall in one of those like safe, transparent, and fair bucket. I think if we build systems that are like responsible enough to be trustworthy, I think sometimes not just about fairness. um, for example, looks at different things depending on cultural and social contexts, but we can demand auditable, transparent, and contestable systems. And I think what matters is whether people can understand how AI can make a decision, and also challenge the status quo, or challenge if it is necessary, and hold someone accountable. That's baseline for the trust. I think, yeah, to your point of the science fiction, or like I mean, maybe in the future, but at least not immediately. Maybe after 2035 we might see or get into that situation. But I think right now it's just good to build the skill set of like develop the mindset of
Mhm.
applying AI from a responsible and trustworthy AI standpoint.
Wonderful. Indeed, another insightful reply that I got from a wise man like you. Wonderful. With this, I recall an article that I've read written by Miss Ishita Soni. She's a part of our team. So, in her article, she wrote that it's been 60 years and we haven't, as a human, we human haven't thought anything new. We conceptualize robots, flying cars, terminators back in 1960s, that a terminator would be coming in 2029, and a concept of virtual reality, spaceships, and this artificial intelligence, because it was back at that time. Now it is the time that all the things are coming up. So, do you believe that we as a human haven't conceptualized what we will gonna be see after 50, 60, 70 years? Because whatever we thought is already here: robots, artificial intelligence. What next? What after 50 to 60 years?
I think yeah, that's a good question. So
Does our imagination stopped after that?
I don't think so. I think like imagination, curiosity, like pursuit of like asking those right questions, I think that won't go away for sure. I think the more questions, I mean, the more right questions that we ask, the better place we would be. And it should come from everyone. It's not just like just need to come from like a uh, um, like from a company standpoint. It should come from like from us as a people, from like from government, from organizations that are who are building these AI systems. But I think one of the things that I was just kind of reading, that as everyone says that AI will change the world, but I think one of the most underrated opportunity in the generative AI that kind of no one is really talking about or touching on the pieces is how generative AI can preserve and amplify low resource languages, and also cultural knowledge, right? I think that is very deep and rich. And we often, talk about AI in healthcare, AI in finance, or AI in education. But I think, imagine if AI could help digitalize those histories, or translate indigenous languages, or I think even make local scientific research accessible to worldwide. I think that's where I see quite revolution, um, not just in the global industries, but I think in terms of giving a voice in the communities that technology has often ignored. So yeah, I think definitely there is a place to innovate. And but yeah, I think to the point, I think it all starts with that imagination, and questioning, and challenging the status quo.
Yeah, definitely. AI is indeed have a lot of use cases, and the biggest reason why people are so threatened by AI is because we never imagined a world further than humanoid robots or flying cars, and where imagination ends, apocalypse start, and being threatened by AI begins. And a lot of students are nowadays are in this confusion. And leaving that topic aside, let's come to the opportunities that AI will give us. As you covered, that AI can help us preserve our culture, our history. So, what are the hidden use cases, or the very few areas which you want to say that AI is evolving, still evolving at this particular field as a use case?
Got it. That's a good question. I think, uh, yeah, I mean, there are like several use cases, to be honest. One
We
of
would
the
love
big,
to know all of them.
one of the uh, like I think in government, right? I think
Yes.
specifically, as compared to like other industries, like government is also adopting the use cases around like AI. And one of the big challenge that I've seen from my interactions, or like having working there, is how do we responsibly handle the personal identifiable information, right? There is so much of the PII in the data that government handles, right? So, and now we are talking about systems that would change the way we think, change the way that it would evolve. I think PII redaction effective on fly, or like, let's say if a user or a customer is on a call, right? And then there is a yeah, and then the person is speaking about the personal identifiable information on call, and sharing with the other person who's in the
Yeah.
customer center, or like within the government office. Is how do we like real time redact those PII, so that that information is not being transferred to a respective agent, but it's basically redacted on a real time basis. I think that is definitely like a interesting space to think through. I mean, I'm sure there are like other solutions that are doing for the PI redaction, but I think on a real time redacting PI would be a little challenging, because there are like so many dimensions to PI. So I think that could be like one area that I could immediately think of, but there are like other areas as well in like different sectors. So, and of course the one that I've already mentioned, preserving the cultural pieces, and like the indigenous languages, and like how do we even think of like traditionally bring those pieces back, and so that we could have like more evolution. And maybe one day we could even like discover solutions, effective solutions for cancer, or even like permanent cure for folks with diabetes. And like in ancient history we haven't seen these situations. I'm sure there might be some solutions, but yeah, maybe, yeah, probably with the help of AI we could address some of those most complex pressing challenges.
Indeed, possibilities are immense, and thanks to you that you covered some of the most untouched use cases in which the progress is still being done. And as we are on the last stage of our discussion, let's talk about like what are the companies seeking nowadays in students before hiring them in the role of AI, ML research, or data scientist.
Got it. Sure. I think, yeah, before even getting into the technical skills, I think one of the skill that companies are really looking at is the ability to translate technical insights to non-technical stakeholders, or someone who is not from a research background, right? I think that is definitely an important skill that companies are looking at, because no matter whatever the great model that you've built, right? I think it comes to a fact where unless if you are able to translate or present in a meaningful way, then there's no point of building those AI models. So yeah, I think you should also focus on building your communication and presentation skills. I think yeah, there's so much to um, develop on that front. But yeah, I think in terms of the other skills that companies are seeking is definitely the research side of skill, right? Like, were you able to form a hypothesis? Were you able to identify challenges? Were you able to read a research paper, right? So I've noticed in one of my company, in my previous roles, where an AI engineer wasn't able to find a research paper and extract insights from the paper. So I think
Yeah.
it is also coming down to a point where your expertise in prior publications, having few research publications, would also put you in an edge where it also gives you a competitive edge in the interview pool. And yeah, what else? I think, yeah, I think definitely also certifications, right? I think the one of the piece that I forgot to mention is the cloud skill set. Like everyone these days, the models and the data is tera and petabytes of information. And now these models are being engineered and deployed in cloud, and various companies use different service providers for the cloud, which is either AWS or GCP perhaps, or Microsoft Azure. But I think most of the companies, at least that I've seen, use extensively AWS. I think, yeah, and a lot of these skills can be transferable if you learn one cloud technology, and you can also adopt the other technology. So I think, yeah, just build your skill set. Just try to do some certifications on these cloud courses would be like an added advantage to your profile, especially as most of the students are actually in a college right now. That's what I'm assuming based on the audience. So I think that would be a good area for them to think through.
Wonderful. We have covered a lot, like you can also do research papers and certifications, and you should communicate well, and all the cloud services, you should have good knowledge, which will set you apart from others, which will obviously make you extraordinary person. And Krishna, I want to know that how you got that sparked inside you. Okay, that artificial intelligence or this field is built for me. I'm gonna pursue my career in this field only. What time? At what time you realize that point?
I mean, probably I should say during my undergrad time itself. I think that's when the data science is in the early phases. Not the data science, I would say data analytics was kind of booming, and companies are talking about data analytical
Yeah,
adoption. Mostly taking data driven decisions and building dashboards and stuff. So that's when I was really intrigued. When I saw all those scrappy data is presented in a visual format where folks can understand. I think that was something, when I saw some other folks who are giving presentations, that's when I realized, oh, can we even translate all these data into something meaningful, so that folks can understand and synthesize. So my curiosity started from our data, to build my skill set in data visualization. And then as I explore that data visualization, data visual analytics space, that's when I realized that there's so much beyond data visualization. That's where it comes, machine learning, deep learning, and
yeah,
the AI pieces. So yeah, I think one step at a time. So like once you get into like machine learning, then you can get to try out different things and yeah, experiment. So yeah, I think yeah, never the late. I think there's always the time. I think right now we're really competing with the time. So I think at the try to get yourself like literally today, in case if you haven't started getting yourself into this data science or AI space, start building like some math foundations. I think that is definitely key um, to succeed in the data science space. And but I think these days, I've been hearing in US especially um, the terms called like vibe coding, low
Yeah,
code, no code.
yeah,
So things like that. I think that would also change the way that we approach when it comes to writing code or reviewing code for that matter. And like companies like Lovable, it has actually changed the way that how people would approach in developing like websites, which would take like months. Now it's taking 2 days, which is I think great. So yeah, I think also build your acumen into these tools would be the other possible. There are like ton of tools that are out in the market. So yeah.
okay. And as we are short of time, so one last question that we'll be covering. So there is a lot of noise. Maybe if a student is in their college days, there's a lot of noise. Like teacher says do this, senior says do this, they influencer says do this, do blockchain, do cloud, do AI, do web development. No, web development is like a lot of people are doing it. It's like become ordinary. I want to do something else. Designing is not having that much scope. So there is so much noise around us. So being a student, if you were at their place, so how you would suggest, or how what you would suggest to your younger self, that one mistake that you did, that you want to suggest to all the students? Okay, this way you can cut through the noise and can truly found your passion that you'll enjoy the rest of your life doing.
Got it. Got it. I mean, that's an interesting question. I think if I had to ask a younger self of me, probably I think, you never know until you ask right questions, right? I think in order to ask questions, you need to have people surrounded, who are in that field, right? Unless if you chat with someone like, with your peer who is also in the same stage as you are, but someone like who's already in the field, thriving through the field, had much insights. So yeah, I think for that, I think of the professional avenues like LinkedIn, join in like some of those research groups, attend conferences. That is also one other way to see like what's happening, and ask some questions to these researchers, that what are the limitations, what are the downsides. Always don't talk about the merit side of things, but also look at the other way, in terms of like that, because those limitations would give you an opportunity that, oh, there is this area that where I could further expand or explore. So yeah, I think learning is a key. I think this, like I said, there's like new tools and technologies that are coming in like every day. And yeah, I think it's like staying relevant to the trends is the key to success, at least these days. And that you can accomplish through like joining Slack communities. I mean, even like the your organizations, the girls leading tech, I think you guys are doing amazing, like bringing in folks with different expertise. Yeah, I think folks could just attend, probably while having their dinner. They could just
Yeah,
listen and hear from what others' journey has been. I think that would also shape some of the interesting insights. So yeah, I think yeah, just continue learning. I think that's the key.
wonderful. Explore both the sides of the coin, and with this we close our session filled with so much insight, so much knowledge shared by you, Mr. Krishna. And we would be honored to have you today. And you spared the time and come and shared all your wisdoms, advices to all the students. And we believe that you all get to learn a lot. Thank you so much, Krishna, from the bottom of my heart and to on the behalf of our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Manika. I really enjoyed this discussion. I think these are like really great questions, and
Yeah,
yeah, I'd love to, be back again. And thanks to the entire organizing team, and yeah, really appreciate for having me here for the today's session. So thank you.
thank you so much. Have
Yeah,
a wonderful life ahead.
thank you. Bye. Take care.